Finally unleashed back into the grid after Nyck De Vries has been given the boot. Red Bull are trying to light a fire under Sergio Perez, while Ricciardo has to prove himself against a surprisingly well-formed Tsunoda. Let's go over the timeline of Daniel Ricciardo because I have some predictions about how his first race is going to go. This is Aliens in the Paddock. It's well-worn news now, but Daniel Ricciardo will be returning to the Formula One grid in an AlphaTauri after the dismissal of Nyck De Vries. And sure, this has Ricciardo fans frothing after months of speculation, but let's run down how Ricciardo got here and what happened to Nyck De Vries and Red Bull. And I'm going to finish this video off with my exact predictions on how well I think the Honey Badger's going to perform. Formula One is truly blessed to have two Australians on the track, with rookie Oscar Piastri and Daniel Ricciardo at the same time. That makes Australians 10% of all drivers on the grid. So after karting from the age of 9 in Western Australia, Ricciardo moved to open wheel racing in Formula BMW Asia Championship in 2006, impressing with his talent and speed, particularly interesting because he only had very little experience in the cars. In 2007, Ricciardo competed in Formula Renault 2.0 Championship. He won the series in 2008, catching the attention of Red Bull's Junior Driver Development Program. Ricciardo joined the Red Bull Junior team in 2008 and began competing in various Formula Renault categories, including the 3.5 series. In 2011, Ricciardo made his Formula One debut as test driver for Toro Rosso. He impressed the team with his performance and was eventually given the seat in the Red Bull sister team. Ricciardo's first full season in Formula One with Toro Rosso showcased his skill and potential. He consistently outperformed his teammate and achieved several top 10 finishes. In 2014, Ricciardo was promoted to Red Bull Racing, one of the top teams in Formula One if you didn't know. He was replacing Mark Webber, and he had a breakout season, winning 3 races and finishing 3rd in the Drivers' Championship. Over the next few years, Ricciardo continued to be a competitive force in Formula One, displaying his overtaking skills and his ability to handle different race scenarios. In 2018, Ricciardo did Red Bull dirty though, by announcing the move to Renault. This decision was driven by his desire for a new challenge and the potential for Renault's future success. During these deals, whatever Renault did here, they really got Ricciardo at the right time and sold him the absolute dream that Renault were about to start taking championships. Ricciardo's tenure with Renault proved challenging as the team struggled consistently to deliver a competitive car. Nevertheless, he managed to secure podium finishes and a lot of times showcased he's still a viable F1 driver. But for the 2021 season, Ricciardo joined the McLaren F1 team, partnering with Lando Norris. He aimed to further revive his career and contribute to McLaren's rise back to the top of Formula One after Carlos Sainz leaves McLaren for a multi-deal with Ferrari. What happens here is very well documented, and after a somewhat disappointing 2022 season, Ricciardo and McLaren terminate his contract a year early, supposedly mutually, and he becomes Red Bull's 3rd, focusing on testing and sim driving. So, since the start of this season and his joining with Red Bull, it has been essentially non-stop rumours on the potential deals with other constructors, but Ricciardo has seemed adamant on staying with a team that could be a Constructor Championship contender. As more and more races in this season went by, rumours of an AlphaTauri move have become more prominent. So why now for Ricciardo? Essentially, a few things happened to prompt Daniel to move from Red Bull's 3rd seat to AlphaTauri, taking it from Nyck De Vries. Nyck De Vries had actually been pegged to be a possible Red Bull driver from day one. Being a former Formula E champion, it definitely seemed like he could be the one to be alongside Max, creating an all-Dutchman team. But a combination of him underperforming in general and Yuki Tsunoda performing, I think, above expectation this season has put his performance in question. He's never finished any higher than P12 this year, where Yuki has gotten the points twice and P11 2 other times as well. To be fair to Nyck, at this moment of recording, the AlphaTauri is arguably the worst car on the grid, but Yuki is in it as well. So why did this all happen now? Over at Red Bull, Sergio Perez is underperforming as well. It looks like Helmut Marko, who is the head of Red Bull's driver development program, is trying to motivate him to perform better. There has been some awful qualifying from Sergio, considering he is in the best car on the track. As Max Verstappen has said and proven, he could win the Constructors all by himself. So, does moving Daniel to AlphaTauri make Sergio Perez think if he doesn't step up his game, Daniel could have his seat in 2024? If Daniel pushes the AlphaTauri into points fairly often in the rest of this season, and combined with Sergio underperforming, well, I can see Yuki hanging around for a few more years to develop, and Daniel Ricciardo taking the seat. Alright then, so how's Daniel Ricciardo going to do in these next few races, particularly the next one, which is Hungary? It's going to be tough, since in an ideal world, a driver would get a solid pre-season in the car before having to put laps down. I really think we're going to see Daniel perform really well in qualifying in the Hungary race, getting into Q3, possibly P9 or P10 and on the starting grid, but I think for the race he's going to drop out of the point, but he'll still be in front of Tsunoda. I'm open, of course, to being wrong. There could be a catastrophic engine failure or a DNF. And historically, that kind of thing hasn't played well with Daniel's confidence. So what is his headspace like at the moment? We know from reporting that Daniel's headspace is critical, but he has said himself over the past year, especially since coming on as Red Bull's third driver, that he's in a better place than ever. And with Christian Horner suggesting that Daniel has been dominating in the simulator, and we got to see Daniel drive on Silverstone after the Grand Prix. Reportedly, his lap times were enough for Christian Horner and Helmut Marko to dismiss Nyck De Vries relatively quickly once Daniel's lap times were in. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favour, consider subscribing, or maybe share it with someone you think would like it as well. Have I got anything wrong? Let me know down below. Feel free to pull me up and put me on blast in the comments when it turns out my predictions are way off. Thanks for watching Aliens in the Paddock. Goodbye.